Hello, everybody. Good evening. Well, it's evening here. I've posted a few videos about your birth code. So there's a few elements that go into what we would call your birth code or your natal numerology chart. And I'll put the links below for the intro video on these three items so you can learn a little more about them if you'd like. And also, if you have the number one, as we're going to discuss about the number 2 and the number 11 today, if you have the number 1 in your chart, there's a video already on number 1. So what we're going to talk about today are 3 elements of your natal numerology chart, and those are your day of birth, which describes your core essence, like who you really are at your core and how you kind of instinctively operate in the world. And number 2, we're going to talk about your birth date, so your entire birth date. And that is numerologically what we would call your life purpose or your life path number. And that's kind of like what you came into this world with, like you reincarnated with certain gifts and traits and things to overcome. And so those are going to be like part of your purpose about what maybe you are here to learn, but also what you're here to teach, because those go hand in hand. As you are learning something, you're more apt to teach and basically teach by example too, as you're learning through your life. So that's number 2. And then lastly, we're going to talk about your birth name, and that correlates to what we call your destiny number. So your career, vocation, how you create abundance and prosperity in your life, and kind of what career or vocation environment is going to be best for you in this life if you have a destiny number of 2 or 11, as we'll talk about. So I'm going to jump right in. So number 2, I keep saying number 2 and number 11. So numerologically, we normally try to reduce numbers down to a single digit, 1 through 9. The exception are what we call master numbers, and for the purposes of these calculations, we use master numbers 11, 1, and 22. So when you think about adding up numbers in numerology, the number 11, technically we would separate 1 plus 1, and that would equal 2. So 2 and 11 have a lot of similar vibration and characteristics. So we'll just jump right in. Number 2, so day of birth. If you were born on the 2nd, the 11th, the 20th, or the 29th, those would all add up to essentially a 2. And so 2 day of birth, the core essence of who you are, your true, core level and characteristics about that make up your being, you're a peacemaker. You think of both sides of the scale. Number 2, think of balance. You're very patient, you're very sincere, very wise, kind of level-headed. You're very like supportive and intuitive, and you tend to like see the best in people. So you're also like really, you know, if you're an 11, so let's, jump to that. So if you have a day of birth of specifically 11 or 29, you're in what we consider an 11. You kind of consider both vibrations. So some of those 2 characteristics may resonate with you, but if you're an 11 specifically, you're those. And then also these are the people that tend to be very enlightened, like at their core. They operate from like a higher consciousness. They like are inventors, and they get like bursts of energy and ideas, and they're like, like breakthroughs. So they have like just that kind of sincere, wise, like supportive team players, see the best in other energy, but also with like that amplified wisdom and higher consciousness. So that's about your day of birth and like your core essence and who you are. Likewise, the shadow of that aspect would be, maybe being like a little too sensitive, a little over emotional, like really empathic. If we think of empaths, like these people can have a tendency to be very empathic. And sometimes that can lead to like dependency on things outside yourself or people outside yourself. So, again, there's always light and dark. We want to acknowledge the whole of our being, because it's all there for a reason. And the more we're aware of it, the more we know when it shows up, and we can respond, to have a productive and happy life, essentially. So, that's a little about the light and shadow of the core essence and the day of birth. So for the date, the whole birth date, we add all those numbers up again in numerology. We reduce them to one number. So that would be a 2, or if you are an 11, you would leave that an 11 and not reduce to 2. Oh, my puppy's behind me dreaming. So, for the birth date, this is what we would call your life purpose or your life path number. Again, this is what you came here kind of to learn, to teach, what gifts you have, how you express those gifts in the world, kind of like your reason for being on this earth this time around. And so again, learning how to see the best in others, like with people, play that like really supportive role for others and supportive of yourself, and share your wisdom, share your intuitive gifts, share your intuitive message, whatever that looks like. It doesn't mean you have to be like a psychic or anything like that, but you can share the information that comes to you intuitively. um, and that's part of your purpose, is to allow others to see that about you, and then allow others to see that as you're learning. So as you're learning to do that and incorporate those characteristics in your life, allow others to see them. Because by you just being who you are and following your purpose, you are teaching the world, and we're learning from you. So the third number, called the destiny number, that's your full birth certificate name. So your first, middle, last name, and you turn the letters into numbers. And again, there are plenty of free calculators online you can do this with. So you calculate that into a single digit. So those that add up to a 2 or an 11, you want to kind of look at both numbers, because it can have an influence on the destiny number. So this destiny number is, again, like what career or vocation, and they're not exactly the same thing. Vocation is kind of like your soul calling. Like we gave an example in a previous video where you can like have a 9-to-5 job, but you can be an artist. And the art is like your vocation. That's like your soul calling. Whereas the career, you may incorporate some of your art and your artistic ability and your artistic calling in your 9-to-5 job. Not that you can't, but the two are a little different. So hopefully that makes it a little clear about when I say career and vocation. And either way, you can make abundance, prosperity, and again, that's not just money. That's primarily what we think of when we think of abundance and prosperity. But you can have, be abundant in love, be abundant in time, be abundant in freedom, be abundant in so many things. And this destiny number describes like what environment creates that for you. So, and this could be, very well how you make money as well. So those two kind of go hand in hand. When you're living your purpose and you're living your destiny, and you have a good environment that supports you and like your vibration, like what you came here with, the vibration you came here with, you're naturally going to create that flow of abundance and prosperity all around, including money. So, but destiny number 2 specifically, again, they're those team players. You see the best in people. Kind of what this might look like in a job, career, vocation would be a teacher. Teachers are many facets, not just in like education, but any kind of like trainer, teacher, where you're sharing wisdom, you're helping others, and you're helping them overcome challenges. Any kind of service oriented, where you're again seeing the best in others, helping, supporting. So like those in the medical profession is one example, like nurses and doctors, and then counselors. A lot of counselors are twos, and then anything that allows you to really have like that creative expression of yourself. There's so much wisdom and sincerity going on within you, and makeup of who you are. So very important for that. And specifically 11s, again, the two information may resonate very much with you because the vibration is very similar. But if you have a destiny number 11, the spirituality aspect and like the personal growth, like what's going on in the inner world, that's going to be an environment that suits you very well. So in addition to playing like a supportive, sharing wisdom, specifically with like spirituality and like in like that inner world. So anything with like, higher consciousness, like teaching, very like spiritual science where there's like revelations and discoveries, that's going to be more of the vibration of the destiny number 11. So I hope that this gives you some insight. And again, we have some other videos, but this information, you can look up these numbers and calculate your numbers and get some insight. So if you're not feeling like you're completely prosperous and abundant in areas of your life, or if you feel like maybe you're not following, your soul calling, you get those nudges inside, or you've had them all your life to make a certain decision or go down a certain road. And if you have or haven't, and maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, but you'll know more about yourself by studying this information, this natal numerology information. So when it comes to making a decision, you can say, you know what, I know that this is like really who I am. My core essence is two. I love seeing the best in people. I love supporting. And then maybe like a job, or maybe an opportunity, like a volunteer thing, or maybe like, oh, someone wants you to join their business and in a certain role, and you'll automatically know about yourself and be able to confirm with numerology if you have any doubts about who you are or what your life purpose is. You can study this information to help guide your life and guide your decisions in the way that you planned out essentially when you came here. So hope this was interesting. Hope it was helpful. If you liked it, please subscribe, like the video. And if you want to know a little more specific, say you are a life path 2 or a destiny number 2 or 11, and you want to know specifically what that means for you in your life, and with some assistance with your purpose, specifically what that would mean like in your life and what kind of jobs or environments are best for you, you can certainly hit me up on my website at briannacolumbini.com. And I would love to talk about it with you. This is one of my passions. So helping people discover their life purpose and how to live a happy, abundant, awesome life. So yeah, hit me up. And until next time, I will catch you guys later.